Starbucks topping revenue estimates and reporting better than expected comparable sales in the first quarter. As it's one quarter into its turnaround, CEO Brian Niccol highlighting the company is moving quickly to act on what he has called the back to Starbucks efforts. Here with a closer look, let's get to BTIG Managing Director and Restaurant Analyst Peter Saleh. Peter, it's good to see you here. Now, we said it was better than expected. It was still down 4% in terms of those comparable sales. So the turnaround efforts are sort of slowly and incrementally working. When do you think we see them inflect more positively?
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. Look, Starbucks top pick for us this year. We think you're going to start to see some of these results in the back half of fiscal 25 for them. Keep in mind, Brian got to Starbucks in September, so he's really had 3 months under his belt or so, changing the results. So, it's going to be slow. There's a lot of change going on. So I think you're going to start to see more momentum building in the comps and the margins and the earnings as we get into the back end of this year and then into fiscal 2026. So we're still very, very early innings of this turnaround story.
Peter, early innings, Brian Niccol, took the helm here in September, he laid out a vision, right? It's, let's focus on coffee and better pricing and faster service. In your opinion, early days, Peter, but is he hitting the right priorities?
So I think so. I think, they're focusing on throughput, that promise of 4-minute coffee. They're implementing the Siren system, which is going to increase their throughput pretty meaningfully. They're adding the coffee bars as well, which will also help alleviate some of the pressure on the baristas. Also keep in mind, as soon as Brian arrived in September, several weeks later, they started advertising for the first time in their history on TV during sporting events. They've never done that before. So they started that, I would say, maybe mid-October into November. That is new. That is something that he did at Chipotle and was wildly successful. I think you're going to see a lot more advertisements from Starbucks on TV during sporting events and other live events on TV, which I think is really going to be a sales driver once we start to pick up steam in the back half of this year.
Peter, it seems like a lot of the focus is on what is still yet to come. I'm curious, when you look at today's numbers, if there's anything specifically in there that is giving you some breadcrumbs, right, that are leading that direction, that are already turning.
Yeah, so look, I haven't had a chance to go through all the details quite yet, but I'm happy to see that the U.S. comp was a little bit better than expected. The traffic was still pretty weak. Would like to see that those results over in China also continue to get a little bit better. But I think more of the details are going to be on the earnings call. Again, the fundamentals right now, while modestly better, aren't the whole story. I think we're still early, but we want to hear about what the progress is on the promise of 4-minute coffee is, what their pricing plans are going to be going forward, what the ad strategy is. Keep in mind, he's made a lot of changes to the management team. And so I think he's got a strategic vision, and a lot of these things have yet to be implemented. And we've got some, several months or quarters ahead before we start to see some of the results of some of the things he's doing right now.